What are effective pass concepts versus really good coverage defenses like Patriots, Texans? Does motion help versus good secondary? How do offenses attack too high defense? When you're playing a top-tier coverage defense, the kind that can play both man and split safety match without busts. The big difference is this: you don't call a concept to beat a coverage. You build a plan to beat their rules plus disguise plus leverage, and you keep answers built into every play. Teams like the Patriots and Texans have been good examples recently because they'll mix/manipulate split safety coverages, cover 2/quarters/cover 6, with late rotation and matchup rules, and they'll still have the corners to play tight when they want. Below is a practical way to think about it. What good coverage defenses actually do. Elite coverage units win with some combo of disguise plus late rotation, making your pre-snap ID wrong. Match coverage looks like zone, plays like man on routes. Leverage discipline, forcing throws to the least efficient lane. Pattern reading, they don't cover grass, they cover your concepts. Pass rush married to coverage. Your second/third red never arrives. New England has leaned more into split safety looks at times, higher cover 2 usage in recent seasons, while still having man/robber calls in the toolkit. Houston under DeMeco Ryans/Matt Burke has been strongly associated with quarters/match ideas and disguising split safety from single high-looking shells. If you want raw team-by-team coverage rate data, Sharp Football tracks this annually. Effective pass concepts versus great secondaries. What travels? Instead of listing 30 concepts, here are the concept buckets that consistently hold up versus elite coverage because they either force communication, create leverage, or put a defender in conflict. 1. Condensed sets plus bunch/stack releases, coverage, stress. Why it works. Great DBs love clean, on-the-line releases. Bunch/stack/condensed splits create traffic, force banjo calls, and prevent press from landing clean. Man answers. Switch releases, rub/mesh, burst crossers. Zone/match answers. Flood/levels from bunch. Over routes behind LBS. Key coaching point. You're not scheming picks as much as you're forcing a coverage to communicate through routes. 2. Intermediate inbreakers plus crossers, MOF attacks. Against disciplined secondaries, the most efficient throws are often digs, 10 to 18 yards. Overs, deep cross. Shallow to dig, drive families. Why? They attack linebacker windows and punish match rules when defenders carry verticals. 3. Play action that changes second-level behavior. A lot of good coverage is only good if the LBS and safeties get depth exactly on time. Under center play action, Yankee, post plus over, deep over off stretch, sail. Gunplay action/RPO tags, glance/bang/skinny post, stick slant tags. Even if the secondary is nails, play action can buy you the one extra step that creates a window. 4. Screens plus fast profit throws. This is underrated versus elite coverage. If they're erasing your first 2 reads and rallying, you keep them honest with RB/WR screens, especially versus pressure looks. Quick hitches/outlets versus soft corners in too high. Swing/arrow to widen flat defenders. It's not giving up. It's forcing them to tackle for 4 all day. 5. Shot plays built off tendencies, not random bombs. Versus good secondaries. Deep shots need a reason. Double move versus corners squatting. Cover 2/trap/hard cloud. Post safety manipulation. Clear out plus post/dig behind. Max protect so the QB can hitch once. Random 9 routes into 2 high equals punts. Does motion help versus a good secondary? Yes, but only if you use it for something specific. A great secondary can trade and bump motion and still hide the coverage, but motion still creates value in 3 ways. Motion helps you identify rules. If a defender runs with motion across the formation, then often man/match indicator. If defenders zone off and pass it, then often zone or match zone rules. Good defenses can still disguise, but you're gathering clues. Create leverage/cleaner releases. Short zip motion into stack/bunch equals reduces press effectiveness. Motion to slot a WR equals forces nickel per pound matchup decisions. Change the coverage structure. Motion from 2x2 to 3x1 forces split safety defenses to declare how they handle number 3 vertical, poach/solo/etc. Motion the back out equals exposes whether they treat him like a WR, coverage tells plus matchup. What great defenses do back. Late rotate after motion. Banjo switch calls, they pass routes, not men. Trap rotations, show 2 high, drive on short throws. The best way to make motion matter. Motion plus quick snap, tempo, so they can't rotate late. Motion that changes formation strength, not just window dressing. A concept that punishes both outcomes if they chase to pick/crosser, if they zone to spacing/flood. How offenses attack a 2 high defense. 2 high is a shell, not a single coverage. Offenses win by forcing the defense to pick what it wants to give up. First principle: run/RPO them until they spin. Most 2 high structures are designed to stop explosives and keep safeties deep, which often means lighter boxes. So offenses: run inside zone/duo/counter to force safety involvement. Tag RPO glance/slant/bubble to punish soft corners. If you can get them to spin to 1 high, your shot menu opens up. The cheat sheet: attacking common 2 high families. A. Cover 2, true 2 deep, 5 under. Stress points: the seam between safeties/near the mic. The hole shot outside, between corner sinking and safety over the top. The flat defender, force him to choose. Concepts that work: smash, hitch plus corner. Sail/flood. Go/clear plus deep out plus flat. 4 verts with seam rid. Slot seam is big. RB swing/quick out to hold the flat. Coaching point: versus cover 2, you're often throwing between layers, not to grass. B. Quarters/cover 4, match quarters. Stress points: safeties are responsible for verticals. You can manipulate them with number 2/number 3. LBS can get stretched by overroutes plus seams. Match rules can get messy versus switch releases. Concepts that work: 4 verts/switch verts, force match communication. Post over, Yankee/Mills family. To hold a safety, then hit the over/dig. Dagger, clear out plus dig, divided by deep cross. Bender seams by TE/slot. Red leverage bend away. Coaching point versus quarters. You're trying to create a vertical conflict first, then hit the intermediate window. Houston has leaned into quarters principles and disguising split safety looks, so these vertical conflict answers matter a lot in that matchup style. C. Cover 6, quarter half, and palms/2 red. Stress points. One side plays half rules, cover 2-ish. The other plays quarters rules. Palms/2-read, corners can trap short outside throws. Concepts that work. Put flood/smash to the cover 2 side. Put verts/post over to the quarters side. Use 3x1 and attack how they handle number 3 vertical. That's where busts happen. Coaching point. You want your QB thinking which side is which, then immediately go to the correct family of throws, putting it together. What a real game plan looks like. Against a Patriots/Texans caliber coverage unit, most good offenses script like this. Early, run plus RPO plus quick game. Force corners/LBS to tackle and declare. Mid, play action crossers/digs, hit intermediate windows. Then, take defined shots, double moves/post over once you've earned a rotation. All game, bunch/stack plus motion to prevent clean press and force communication. If you tell me what you mean by too high in your context, NFL defenses you're watching, or if you're talking Madden/playbook, or your own team's offense style like Shanahan tree versus spread, I can map these into 5 to 8 specific pass calls that chain together. Same formation, different answers, so you're not guessing when the defense rotates. Here's the big idea. Really good coverage defenses don't get beaten by one concept. They get beaten by stress plus leverage plus timing plus forcing communication, formation/motion, and by making the QB right, built-in answers. I'll break it into 3 parts. 1. Pass concepts that hold up versus elite coverage units. 2. What motion actually does versus good secondaries. 3. How offenses consistently attack too high. 1. Pass concepts that work versus elite coverage defenses. When people say Patriots/Texans type coverage defense, they usually mean some mix of disguise plus late rotation, pattern match, quarters/match 3/palms, man on money downs with bracket help, good leverage plus tackling, limits YAC. Pass rush that makes long developing routes die. So your best coverage-proof concepts tend to be layered, high-low reads, in-breakers, attack leverage, routes that create traffic/rubs legally, concepts with built-in answers versus both man and zone, concepts that win quickly or are protected with max, protect/play action. A. Man/two-man beaters, and also good versus match. These are staples when the secondary can actually cover 1. Mesh with a sit/rail/corner tag. 2 shallow crossers at approximately 4 to 6 yards, plus a higher over or corner. Beats man with natural rub/traffic. Beats zone because crossers can sit in open grass. Coaching point. Versus zone, don't keep running into coverage. Sit. 2. Bunch/stack rub concepts. Legal picks. Snag/spot/pivot/whip/return from condensed splits. Condensed formations force DBs to communicate and prevents press disruption. 3. Dagger/deep in-cut families. Clear out vertical plus dig, and usually a check down. Great when corners play outside leverage or safeties stay high. In breakers win. 4. Drive/shallow cross. Shallow plus dig behind it. If LBS widen with shallow, dig opens. If they sit, shallow gets YAC. 5. RB option routes. Texas/angle choice. Elite coverage teams often lock WRS and dare you to win with RB/TE matchups. Option routes also punish heavy man on third down. 6. Sprint out/half roll. Change the launch point. Takes away some disguise, simplifies the read, and reduces time for coverage to plaster. Pairs well with flood/flat routes. B. Zone/match coverage beaters. Quarters, palms, match 3. Good match defenses don't spot drop. They carry routes based on number 2/number 3 releases. You beat that by forcing rule conflicts. 1. Switch releases/stacked verticals. Example: number 1 goes inside, number 2 goes outside vertically. Switch verts. Match defenses often have who carries who rules that get stressed by switches. 2. Flood/sail, 3-level stretch to one side. Classic 3-level, deep, go slips vatra corner. Intermediate, deep out/sail. Flat, arrow/flare. QB reads deep to intermediate to flat. This attacks a single curl/flat or flat defender, no matter the coverage family. 3. Mills, post plus dig. Post holds/occupies the deep safety. Dig hits behind LBS and in front of safeties. This is one of the best too-high shot plays when protected. 4. Levels, in breakers at different depths. Shallow/10 to 12 yards, in/deeper in. Makes underneath defenders wrong and gives QB an easy throw on rhythm. 5. Screens plus now throws. Not sexy, but elite secondaries want you to hold the ball. Tunnel screens, quick bubbles, RB screens punish match rules plus pass rush. C. Protection-adjusted shot concepts when you want explosives. Against elite coverage, explosives often come from play action, move LBS. Max protect, give time. Condensed splits, easier access, better angles, harder to press. Examples: play action deep over. Max protect post/slot fade. Double moves, sluggo/out and up. Only if you've established hitches/outs and can protect. 2. Does motion help versus a good secondary? Yes, if it's doing something specific. Motion helps in 3 main ways. A. It identifies coverage, or at least narrows it. If a defender travels with the motion man across the formation, often man or man match. If defenders bump/zone off, often zone/match. Good defenses can still cheat this. They'll pass it off in man-match looks, but motion still usually gives the QB information. B. It creates leverage and free releases. Short motion into a stack is huge versus press man. It prevents a corner from getting hands on your best WR. It can also force the defense to declare inside/outside leverage. C. It stresses communication, where good defenses still bust sometimes. Bunch/stack plus motion creates. Banjo calls. You take inside, I take outside. Switch calls. Match rules adjustments. Even great secondaries can have one bad exchange. Motion makes that more likely. When motion doesn't help much. If the defense is disciplined, and you're using meaningless motion that doesn't change leverage. If your motion is predictable, motion equals run, no motion equals pass. If motion eats the play clock and forces sloppy execution. Best use versus elite coverage. Short motion to stack/bunch, plus a concept like mesh/snag/drive/flood. 3. How offenses attack too high defenses. First, too high is a shell, not one coverage. It can become cover 2, quarters, cover 4, cover 6, quarter half. 2-man. Rotations to cover 3/cover 1 late. But the reason defenses live in too high is consistent. No explosives, make you drive the field. So the consistent offensive answers are also consistent. A. Run the ball, because too high often means light boxes. If safeties stay deep, you frequently get 6-man boxes. Offenses respond with duo/inside zone/wide zone. Split zone, TE slice helps versus edge pressure. QB run adds a hat, red option, bash, zone red keepers. If you can get 4 to 6 yards consistently, the defense eventually spins a safety down, then now you get single high shots. B. RPOs and quick game, take the free throws. Too high defenses often concede quick hitches, stick routes, spacing, bubbles, fast flats. The point isn't 8 yards every play. The point is, stay on schedule. Force corners to tackle. Force safeties to creep. C. Attack the seams and benders. TE/slot. This is a huge too high answer. Versus cover 2. The seam between CB and safety can be there. Versus quarters. You often run a bender, seam that bends away from the safety/LB leverage, or use switch releases to stress match rules. Common calls. 4 verts with seam red. Seam plus over. Slot fade, especially from reduced splits. D. Play action to hit intermediate inbreakers. Too high teams rely on LBS playing pass/run with discipline. Play action makes them wrong by inches, enough to open windows. Best too high PA concepts. Mills, post dig. Deep over. Dagger, clear plus dig. Y cross, crossing route that settles versus zone. E, flood aside and make one defender wrong. No matter what too high turns into, there's usually a curl/flat or flat defender who has to choose. Concepts. Flood/sail. Smash, especially versus cover 2/cloud corners. Smash, simple picture. Outside WR, hitch, slot, corner, read. If corner squats, then throw corner. If corner sinks, then throw hitch. F. Formation stress. 3x1 and condensed sets. 3x1, trips, is a too high teller. It forces the defense to decide, do we rotate a safety toward trips? Do we play quarters to trips and something else backside? Do we bracket number 3? Offenses use 3x1 to create a weak side isolation, backside slant/glance/comeback, a trip side seam/over concept. Condensed splits help because routes break faster, less space for CBS to press and ride you to the sideline, more natural traffic for rubs. Practical if I'm game planning a great secondary checklist. Start with motion that gives information, short motion to stack, fast motion across. Live in condensed formations, bunch/stack, to protect releases. Call concepts with answers. Mesh/drive/flood plus checkdowns. Run/RPO until safeties start cheating. Take your shots off play action, mills, deep over, slot fade, with protection. Keep screens ready versus pressure plus sticky coverage.